2025 ain't even 2 months in, and we got a contender for Simp of the Year. Sad. Just sad. Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Looks like we've got a candidate for Simp of the Year in these OnlyFans model's quest to become the woman who holds the record for having the most sexual encounters in a 12-hour period. Now, recently, adult star Lily Phillips, an OnlyFans model, set a record by having sexual encounters with 1,000 men in 12 hours, and that record was broken on January 13th on 2025 when OnlyFans model Bonnie Blue went out here and had sexual encounters with 1,057 men in 12 hours. However, while the debaucherous story is embarrassing as related to both Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue, it is even more embarrassing for the husband of Bonnie Blue, because Bonnie Blue's husband basically is looking like Simp of the Year, but while his wife is out here participating in setting this goal of having sexual encounters with other men outside of him. Now, according to reports, Bonnie Blue looked to file for divorce from her husband as she looked to pursue this whole career of being an OnlyFans model. And as she's been pursuing this career of being an OnlyFans model and participating in sexual encounters with other men, as she's looked to set this record of having sex with 1,057 men, her husband has been standing by her side and watching and working with her towards working on that record. And that's basically what makes her husband a candidate for Simp of the Year. It's like we know who wears the pants in this relationship, and he's a simp basically because he's sitting there watching his wife openly go out here and disrespect him by participating in going out here and, one, filing for divorce, and two, participating in adultery straight in front of him. And instead of him standing up for himself like a man, what he's doing is going out here and going along with this woman, openly disrespecting him as she's going out here and taking off her clothes, dropping the skid mark jockey thong, and allowing these guys to go out here and put carbon rods in her atomic waste reactor and get their taste of the waste from the special place, and sitting there putting up like she's going out here looking to break a world record for a number of men that she's been with, all while she's married to him. And that basically not only makes him the candidate for Simp of the Year, but makes him a candidate for being a complete cuckold. Again, a complete cuckold who sits there and watches as his wife openly disrespects him by going out here and again talking about how she not only wants to go out here and have an OnlyFans where she's out here out here showing off her body to other people, but also going out here and having sexual relations with other people to the point where she's letting over 1,000 men run through her and putting more miles on her body than an 89 Yugo, and letting guys going out here and have as many rides as people have on the subways in Grand Central or on an 8-lane highway. And he's sitting up there again allowing this to go on instead of taking his role, taking his place as a man and standing up for himself. Now, this guy basically thinks, well, if he'll go along to get along, he'll basically, again, be able to receive no benefits. But the sad part is he doesn't see how optically bad this looks, because it really looks optically bad for a man to sit there and watch as a woman goes out here and one commits adultery, two files for divorce as related to the relationship, and then as the divorce is pending, sets a world record for, again, number of male sexual partners. And as he's sitting there, again, this woman is openly disrespecting him straight to his face. And he's just sitting there going along to get along and thinking, oh, I'll go along to get along and it'll make me look good. No, what's happening here is dude is looking like one of the worst simps in history. And even worse, again, looking like a complete joke. Looking like a complete joke as guys go out here and run express trains on his wife right in front of him. And as she's getting these express trains run on her, they're and being, again, run through like an 8-lane highway, she's sitting up here making statements that shows how little regard that she has for him. Now, after, again, filing for divorce, this woman, Bonnie Blue, is sitting there talking like she's, again, looking to move on from him because she's basically caught up in her hypergamy because she sees that her social status has been elevated by participating in this stunt. And as her social status has been elevated by getting this attention from these men, what she's thinking that she's going to do is go out here and monkey branch to another man because she's sitting there talking about how she wants to, again, go out here and have relationships with other men in front of her husband and talking about how she's possibly going to have children in the future. Again, talking in a delusional way, like I talk about in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and my other book, The Woman Crisis, because this woman basically has been indoctrinated into feminism, and as she's been indoctrinated into feminism, she's believing that her sexual promiscuity will allow her to, again, elevate her social status, but sadly doesn't understand that she's put herself in a place where she'll become a woman in crisis by participating in this sexual promiscuity, because what's going to happen to her is that she doesn't understand that sex is something that men and women, when they do have sex, is not just a physical act, it's a mental, spiritual, and emotional act. And again, because women are emotional, what happens to them is if they have too many sexual partners, what happens is that they cannot go out here and pair bond because they become emotionally numb. Even worse, what happens is they wind up with the spirits and DNA of those men bonded to theirs. And as those spirits and DNA become bonded to theirs, what happens to those women who have or participate in sexual promiscuity is that those spirits wind up bonding with hers. And eventually, when you have too many spirits, they start fighting with each other. Because again, when a man has sex with a woman, he releases his spirit inside of her. And again, what happens is she winds up having that part of that spirit fighting with her spirit. And again, as these spirits pull at her soul, what happens with that woman is that woman's soul gets torn to pieces. And as it gets torn to pieces, this is what leads to these women basically becoming emotionally damaged to the point where they have something that resembles the 1,000-yard stare that many soldiers have after seeing so many horrors in war. And that's the facial expression I saw on Lily Phillips and I saw on Bonnie Blue. And Bonnie Blue basically is sitting there talking like nothing is changing as related to her. But when I look in her eyes, I see the same blank, dead look that I saw on Lily Phillips and I saw in another woman who was participating in a crime where she basically hooked up with a black guy. And as she hooked up with that black guy, what happened is she wound up tying him up and tortured him and almost killed him. And again, that same blank look of a 1,000-yard stare, which some people call the 1,000-penis stare. And that's the same expression that this woman has on her face. She has the same expression of just being blank and dead on the inside from, again, having her soul torn completely apart by all of these demons. All of these demons basically have torn her soul apart who participated in that all those sexual encounters. And this woman who has had thousands of sexual encounters with with over 1,000 men, basically is showing me what happens again when you have daughters who are indoctrinated into feminism, and even worse, what happens when those daughters basically raise boys. They raise a man who doesn't understand how to stand up for himself as a man and take his respect, because he doesn't understand the foundation as related to the intangibles of manhood, and because he doesn't understand the intangibles of his manhood, like his dignity, his self-respect, and and most importantly, his freedom, he doesn't understand that these intangibles have a higher value than the relationship he has with that woman. And when a woman goes out here and says she wants to participate in a career in adult entertainment, that's when you file for divorce, because that woman is saying that she basically has no respect for you and is willing to participate in adultery because she has no regard for you. And since she has no regard for you, the only thing you can do as a man to preserve your intangibles of manhood is go out here and end that relationship and send her back to the streets, because you deserve better than a woman who wants to go out in the world and basically share herself with everyone. If she wants to share herself with all of these men, leave her to those men and leave her to be a well of souls like Ermac from Mortal Kombat. And you go out here and live the abundant life that Christ wants you to live. That's what you have to do as a man. What you have to do as a man is let a woman like this go. You don't just sit there and go along to get along with this woman in this mad scheme. No, if she only wants to do OnlyFans and wants to go out here and participate in having multiple sexual partners, you let that woman go, because that's a woman who, again, has serious issues. And if she doesn't want to work on those issues in psychotherapy, because this type of sexual promiscuity in and of itself basically is a cry for help from a woman who possibly has been sexually abused and molested, and she's participating in this sexual promiscuity not as something liberating and empowering, but because there's a serious mental health issue. And when you have women like this competing with each other, where you have Lily Phillips and this woman Bonnie Blue, again, competing with each other, there's a serious problem here with the way we're raising girls to become women, because girls who are raised healthy are not looking to, again, share their bodies with multiple sexual partners, because they get a sexual education that teaches them how to be healthy. And that's what these women didn't get. They got a sexual miseducation from feminists who told them that they can go out here and make their own choices with their bodies. But sadly, they're not taught how to make responsible choices because of that sexual miseducation that they got, fueled by the sexual revolution of the 1960s, which tells them that promiscuity is perfectly healthy. But when I look at this woman's eyes, I don't really see a woman who has a mental health that's really going as stable, because healthy women, again, want to be part of a marriage, and they want to only share themselves with their husband. That's the only woman that'll go out here and, again, share themselves. But what I see, again, is there's the flip side of this, is you've got a lot of guys out here who are simps. And again, when it comes to a simp, he never was taught a proper male life skills about himself. And a foundation in male life skills is to understand, one, you are a steward of God. Two, you are a head established by God. And as a head, you have to meet the standards of God. And also, you have to have standards for yourself as a man. You have to have a standard for yourself where you insist on being respected. And you insist on being respected because if this woman, again, cannot, respect your relationship that she has with you, to go out here and respect you as a man, then that's not the right woman for you. And sadly, many guys out here think, oh, I got an attractive, hot woman. But again, if that attractive, hot woman does not want to respect you, she's not a good reflection of you. And if she's not a good reflection of you, then you should not consider this woman for a relationship at all. No, if you are involved with this woman and you're married to this woman and you ain't got no kids, no, that's when you let that woman go and you go on your way. And as you go on your way, you don't go anywhere with this female at all. No, you don't support her in debauchery and perversion. No, you don't support her as you sit there watching other men go up and have relations with her. No, you don't allow yourself to, again, bring yourself down to that level. No, you don't compromise your dignity like that at all. No, a man of character, when a woman says, oh, I want to go out here and pose for OnlyFans, and again, participate in selling my body for money, again, that's prostitution. And again, the only guys who do that type of stuff are simps and cyber simps, like I talk about in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. And a man has to have a sense of self-worth about himself to say, hey, this chick, she may have low self-esteem, but I'm not going to allow her to drag me down. And drag me down because optically it looks bad when you sit there and support your wife going out here and allowing other dudes to smash. No, you don't sit there and allow other dudes to smash or sit there and stand there and watch. Yeah, she's filed for divorce, but she's filing for divorce because she's caught up in her hypergamy and caught up in her hypergamy thinking she's going to monkey branch to another man. But there's no guy who is of character or worth their salt going to get involved with this woman. No, they're not going to get involved with this woman at all. And that's where her reality is going to get shattered when she's out here in bust downtown with next to women like Tia Mowry who were in the 90% off pile. And in the 90% off pile because no man can trust them because they've basically given away everything as related to their character. And since their character basically is of a poor quality, again, the only guys who basically would deal with a woman like this after she divorced her husband, again, are guys who either are some of the biggest simps, or sometimes like a guy like Corey Hardrick who basically, again, wants to preserve their family. But in the case of this female, again, only guy going to deal with her are big time simps because this woman basically, again, you have to be a special brand of sad to get involved with her, and even sadder to, again, continue to have a relationship with her. Again, any type of relationship, friendship, whatever, you just cut off all contact with this woman and charge her to the game, because if her game is out here looking to, again, disrespect you by talking about how she's looking to move on with you, that's where you gotta put a period at the end of things. Put a period at the end of things and move on. Move on because you deserve better as a man. And that's sadly what the husband of Bonnie Blue doesn't understand. And that's why I gotta call him a candidate for Simp of the Year. And again, it's really sad because we're just getting into 2025 and we've got one of the major candidates for Simp of the Year right in front of us. Now, if you want to learn how to break out of the simp paradigm and basically learn how to identify female predators like Bonnie Blue before you get involved with them, you can pick up my books, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com to learn the pattern of a simp. And you need to pick up Misadventures of Captain Save-'em, which is available on Kindle Unlimited for free if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. Now, Misadventures of Captain Save-'em is the book this dude should have read because he basically was involved with a woman who was similar to a stripper. And again, when it comes to these women, they basically look to prey on men. And again, the only thing you can do with this type of woman is not try to save them because they'll smash kryptonite doo-doo in your face. And again, you can learn how to avoid these type of women by picking up Stop Simping and Misadventures of Captain Save-'em on Amazon.com. And you can learn to not spend your money on these type of females on places like OnlyFans by picking up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, which will teach you why you shouldn't cyber simp and continue to support content from toxic women like this. And in addition to those books, you can learn why women like this are the way they are in my book, The Woman Crisis, where I show you the difference between a feminist and a woman. And you can also pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, which you can use for any woman, because in that book I show you the paradigm of failure that women like this participate in that leads to their own ultimate destruction. And if you want to see me make more videos taking celebrities to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.